If you've ever stubbed your toe, oh, we're live.
Ryan, we're live, and I now have nothing. I'm frazzled, so we're just gonna get into garbage time. Welcome
You start
to
a fucking
Fantasy
super
Football.
show?
Jesus Christ. It's the night of interruptions already with the four of us.
We're off the rails.
Ryan, where were you going with that? I want to hear the rest of
I
what
was going
you're
to say we
saying.
could start the show with, if you've ever stubbed your toe and then gone to work the next morning, congratulations. You're officially more reliable than Michael Thomas.
That would have been good.
All right. Yeah, that was good. I should have waited and jumped the gun. All right. So we are here after a hiatus to start the week, a little bit of a bye week for us. How's everybody doing?
My liver hurts. Thanks, Ryan.
My liver is completely fine, probably. I don't really know. I'm not a doctor.
My liver is losing, my fantasy teams are losing, and my Jets are losing.
Can I just say, why doesn't the NFL just make everyone have a bye week the same week? Like, why can't we just play 8 weeks? The whole NFL has a week off, and then we play the other 9 weeks. Why does it have to be this whole thing?
The NFL go a week without money? Are you
Yeah, that's
kidding me?
That's it would cost.
Yeah, but they got
$1 million.
enough. They can handle it.
They could handle it, but they won't.
One would think.
All right.
I'm just think of like 7,000 teams being on bye week and having to deal with it.
You're just salty because the Giants on our bye this week.
That too, yeah.
You'll have to watch the Jets and Bills.
What if they did like a bye week, but it was just bye weeks for starters, and then every team just had to play like their second string guys?
Oh my God.
NFL shit show. I love it.
I would watch it.
That'd be wild.
Be like an XFL game. All right. Since Joe is the poster boy for this contest, Miles Sanders, who has scored a touchdown tonight and is running well, we have his autograph card as part of our contest. So, Joe, what do you have to do to get this signed Miles Sanders card?
Oh, it's quite simple there, JJ. We have 4 steps that you need to take to do this. You have to like an episode. You have to say you're part of the Heckling Fandom. Leave us a review on Apple. And subscribe to the channel. And that's about it. And then
a 5-star review.
And then your name is going to go into Ron's dirty hat at the end of the fantasy season. And hopefully it'll be drawn out of it. And then we'll send that Miles Sanders card to you.
Truth.
All right. I like it. Anybody have anything to talk about before we get into the news?
Yeah, let me do my quick little spiel too, guys. If you like what you hear on Garbage Time Fantasy Football, make sure to like and subscribe to the show. We are on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Google, Pandora, Amazon, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, live on Twitch and Twitter. Leave us voicemails at www.garbagetimef.com. And I think before we get into the news, JJ, we actually have a voicemail, correct?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes.
We actually use the Christian drop for tonight then too?
You arrogantly said, "Bring it on, Christian." And I'm bringing it.
I love it.
Go ahead and play that beast.
Who's got it?
Joe has it.
Son, I put it down in the background music so you could play
October
it.
was a month of a lot of change for me. Anyways, I need your garbage expertise and advice on a fantasy football controversy that has opened up in one of my leagues. The corrupt dictator of a commissioner of this particular league decided to trade away to give Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, and Derek Carr to his wife for Jonathan Taylor, Deebo Samuel, and Geno Smith. I I'm at a loss for words. I need some help understanding how is this legal? Am I crazy for thinking that there's collusion in this league? Please explain to the Heckling Fandom how in the world this trade is even on the same ballpark. I don't know. Like, because I don't know. Please help me explain. Is this even fair? What should I do? What would you guys do? Please help me. Christian, out.
So what was the trade?
The trade was, and this was between a husband and a wife, Jonathan Taylor, Deebo Samuel, and Geno Smith for Tyreek Hill, Cooper Kupp, and Derek Carr. Christian, my advice for you is get the F out of that league.
That is insanely one-sided.
Yeah, that's no bueno.
Sounds like the commissioner's trying to keep the money in the household is what it sounds like to me.
Christian, you should leave a voicemail, including the commissioner's phone number. In the next episode, we will call the commissioner live and ask him about the trade.
And Christian, one more question for you that JJ would like to bring up about a certain league that you did something in last year. Is that right, JJ?
Say that again?
I believe this was something we were talking about off air where Christian did something in this league kind of out of spite last year, correct?
Oh, I can't remember what the trade was, but I'm pretty sure he was pissed off at the commissioner and traded somebody else. He was going against a really good player, so that guy would lose. Something like that.
I think it was something along the lines of dropping all of his best players to make sure his rivals could end up picking them up.
Okay,
yeah. We're like, that is no bueno in your league.
Yeah,
that won't fly in ours.
That just sounds like a league you shouldn't be in. Just don't be
just fold the league. Just shut it down.
Yep, and we'll expand our dynasty league and get you in that too.
Yes.
Or start a new one.
Yeah, a new one. I need another dynasty league.
I'll do it.
Absolutely.
All right. So that addresses that, Christian. Get out of that league. It's corruption. We don't like collusion. And that's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Ours are much funner anyway.
Yes.
Let's go.
Anything else for the news?
No, let's do it.
News updates.
All right. So we obviously, like I said, it was like a bye week. So we did not react to week 8 or discuss waivers. So we have not had the opportunity to talk about the news for a while. So just a few things to cover. Obviously the trade deadline's a big thing. We'll get into that. First couple notes here, some significant injury news today that came out. Michael Thomas placed on season-ending IR with a toe injury. Somebody hit the glass for me. Thank you.
Glass feet, baby.
Will any of you ever draft Michael Thomas again?
Fuck no.
And what's his value in Dynasty? Is it third-round pick? Nothing?
I think he's actually a pretty good person to go after in Dynasty. I mean, I know he's getting older, but you've seen it when he actually played this year. He was still playing very well.
So is it like 6 games in 3 years then?
I mean, he can't stay injured forever.
Does he actually want to play though? Like, is he truly injured or does he just not want to play?
I think his career is pretty close to over. I think he's not interested anymore.
So I saw a stat today where in 2019 is when he broke the reception record and all that, had his monster year. Mm-hmm. And since then, he's only played like a total of like 10 games or something like that.
The man got the bag. He's ready to move on in his life.
Yeah, finishes the year, 179 yards and 3 touchdowns. It was promising at the beginning of the year, but then the injury bug hit him early, and again, he's out. So
yep.
Nothing really else to talk about him for this season. Next player that went on IR, season-ending IR, Rashad Bateman, been struggling with a foot injury all year. Now we know why. He has a pretty significant Liz Frank injury. He's going to have surgery and be out for the season. So obviously somebody that a lot of fantasy players were high on coming into the year with a massive letdown. Anything on this, guys?
Why did they not go trade for a wide receiver before the trade deadline?
Because
they had to have known this was. They had to have known this was happening. Like, give Lamar some help. Come on.
Well, I think this obviously increases the value of Duvernay, but an interesting person that people have been looking on the waivers, and he got a good portion of that offense last week, was Demarcus Robinson, who could be slotted in as the number 2 now across from him. So, I mean, Mark Andrews is kind of banged up right now, so they're really hampered with weapons right now. In our league, JJ took a shot on Mark Andrews too, coming off the injury. He's expected to play through it, so they're really in dire straits, and they're going to have to rely on Lamar Jackson's running and banged up running backs too. Like, they're just crippled on offense right now, so it's going to be interesting to see where these points come from. And I think Duvernay is a decent option going forward, and Robinson with that injury to Rashad Bateman.
Agreed.
Yeah. I think you're going to see a lot of 2 tight end sets.
Yeah, I was going to say they need to start utilizing Isaiah Likely more. He's proven to be talented. We saw flashes of it in preseason, obviously, and then he looked great in their last game. All right, I'm going to go through the fastest injury report ever. I'm going to go through position, and if anything stands out to you, you let me know. I'm going to start with running back. Kyron Williams from Sean McVay may be activated prior to the game versus Tampa Bay on Sunday. Derrick Henry is limited with a foot injury. Kind of scary because that's what knocked him out last year. Jonathan Taylor, again, did not participate in practice today with his ankle injury. DeAndre Swift was a DNP yesterday, but today he was back at practice, so he's expected to play. James Conner, still limited with a rib injury. Not sure when he's going to be back, potentially this week. Chuba Hubbard, also back at practice, limited with an ankle. Damian Harris was a DNP with an illness. J.D. McKissick was a DNP with a neck injury. And Mark Ingram, who wasn't fantasy relevant anyways, but is doubtful with his knee injury for this week. Anything stick out on this list to you guys? What do you think about Kyron Williams?
I think Kyron Williams could be in for a good week this week. I think they're going to bring him up and instantly get him on the field. I could see him potentially having maybe 60 yards and a touchdown this week.
Something I should have mentioned before getting into injuries, Cam Akers is back at practice now.
They won't use him.
Okay.
That's my feeling.
It sounds like he's going to play this weekend, Sunday.
And then, I don't think you can start any of these Rams wide receivers until you figure out exactly what's going on.
I think Kyron Williams is an emergency flex. I really do.
That's bold.
I don't think they're going to bring him back. He's a rookie. He's not even off the IR yet, I don't think.
He's designated to return, so he's in his 21-day window, so he can come back at any time.
Yeah, so I don't think they're going to throw him right to the Wolves and give him like a big workload. I don't think he's flex worthy.
I think Cam Akers is going to get the Elijah Moore treatment too.
Even if that happens, though, Darrell Henderson's still there. They got that Ronnie Rivers, who, did okay last week. I do think Kyron Williams will eventually be the guy in this offense, but it's definitely not going to be this week. He might go out there. They'll probably give him 4 or 5 carries just to get him acclimated, but they're not going to bring him right back and throw him right in their full workload.
Okay. I think a better
see
option.
what it looks like. Sorry. Yeah, I got to see what it looks like. Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say a better option, I think, than any of the Rams running backs this week would potentially be Deion Jackson, because Jonathan Taylor sounds like he's not going to play this week. And Deion Jackson, the last time we saw him was a plethora monster getting passing work by the running back position. Naheem Hines is gone now. He would be the number 1 back there with Jonathan Taylor being out, and he would be a bell cow on the week and a very good option.
I do think he'd be a good fantasy option, but don't expect what happened last time where he had 10 receptions. That was from Matt Ryan. Sam Ehlinger barely targeted the running backs at all last week when he played. So I don't think he'll get the 10 receptions, or I think Jonathan Taylor didn't have any targets last week at all. So
even if not, though, we saw him be an effective runner, though.
No, I still think he's a good play, but don't expect what he did the last time.
No, he's
not. We'll get into this in a little bit when we talk about a player that the Colts acquired. But okay. So anything else on running backs, injuries before I move into wide receivers real quick?
Cordell Patterson is back off of IR. and he said he's about 90% healthy. So
Yeah,
if you have him and he plays, probably a good start.
Yeah, he's in that window, so he can come back. So, wide receivers, Cooper Kupp was a DNP with that ankle injury. He's banged up. I do think he's going to try and go versus the Bucks, but keep an eye on it. Brandon Cooks, obviously, is not playing right now with a wrist/personal. I'm just going to say you're a dick, Brandon Cooks. Devontae Parker was a DNP with a knee injury. It sounds like his status is up in the air for Sunday for Ryan's Pets. Michael Thomas, IR'd. Tyler Lockett. This is from yesterday. I did not see the Seahawks report with him today, but he was a DNP yesterday with his hamstring. Rashad Bateman, IR'd. Corey Davis was DNP yesterday with his knee.
Not expected to play, I don't believe.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to play. Allen Lazard was limited with a shoulder this week. Still limited. Mike Evans limited with an ankle. That's Mike Evans. He's going to play. Josh Palmer was in concussion protocol, but he cleared Wednesday, so I think he's ready to roll. Mike Williams is still out, and Jahan Dotson is still not practicing with his hamstring. So,
can I mention something about Keenan Allen real quick?
Yes.
Real quick, 1 second.
Go ahead.
Tyler Lockett, full practice today.
Okay. So, and Metcalf came off the injury report too, so both those guys are good to go.
What is going on with Keenan Allen? Because he was DNP yesterday, and then we've heard nothing on him in the last 2 days.
He said that the bye week his ankle was set back in the bye week.
Hamstring, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full season hamstring.
What did I say? Did I say ankle?
You said ankle, I thought.
Yeah, hamstring.
I wasn't 100% sure. I could have been wrong.
Yep, you're right. The hamstring.
But yeah, what it sounds like is he even said like when he came back last time, he wasn't 100%. And the next time he comes back, he's going to make damn sure he's 100%. So I don't expect him to play this week. And we'll probably talk about this a little bit later, but Mike Williams is also not going to be playing because he's out. So Josh Palmer is a very good start.
100%. So you mean 2023, right?
Wow.
Yeah. He's saying Keenan Allen 100%. Will be 100% in 23.
Oh, yeah, probably.
All right. Moving on to tight ends. Irv Smith was IR'd. Darren Waller is limited with his hamstring still. His status up in the air. Mark Andrews still dealing with a shoulder ankle injury. I did not see his designation today, but it seems like it said he avoided a major injury, so it seems like he's probably going to try and tough through it Monday night.
His designation is beast, so he's going to play. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Who is this? I was
Mark Andrews.
Oh yeah, he'll play.
All right. So that's it for the injury stuff. Anyone else have anything on injuries before we move to the trade deadline?
No, let's cover the trade deadline real quick.
All right, so the trade deadline, there was a NFL record 10 trades made at the deadline. So let's start with my favorite trade of the deadline. Chase Claypool traded the Bears for a second-round pick. So how fast does he make an impact, and when is he going to be fantasy relevant?
This will be a 2-week impact. No one else?
Anybody?
I'm trying to think. A lot of me wants to say like the Bears have been playing well. Justin Fields is going to finish the year probably as a top 12 fantasy quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But I still don't know if the passing work is going to be there enough for him and Darnell Mooney. I mean, I don't think they're just going to take Equanimous St. Brown out of the game plan.
They should.
You know, Khalil Herbert out of the backfield. I mean, I don't know. They might design very scripted plays for him.
In the first week, I think they will. And I think they're going to reset the offense in the second week. I'll let you finish what you're saying, then I'll tell you what I think is going to happen.
My whole thing is I don't know how I feel about it. Like, if he gets enough work, I think he'll be really good in this offense.
Mm-hmm.
But I could also see this offense kind of, I mean, they haven't been super explosive, right? You know what I mean? They've been getting a lot better.
Hey.
But and this is a Giants fan. My offense has not been explosive at all.
He was hoping he was going to get Jerry Jeudy, and it didn't happen.
Oh my God, don't get me started on that. But I do believe that this offense will take a giant leap forward next year. The amount of draft capital they have, the amount of money they're going to have, I think this offensive line becomes damn close to one of the best in the league by next season. And I think next year, Chase Claypool could be a really good pick.
So what I think that the Bears are going to end up doing with him this year, and I do think it'll make him fantasy relevant, is as of this week, I think he's really going to be no more than a wide receiver 3 emergency flex option for you. They're going to give him scripted plays down the field where he's going to run straight at the end zone, and you may see 1 or 2 passes at him. He'll have 3 or 4 plays. But as of the given week, which will be next week, I think what they'll end up doing is you won't see Mooney going down the field as much like he was doing because they were trying to put him into that role. You'll see Mooney probably move more inside. You'll see Claypool move onto the outside, and you'll see him take that number 1 role. And I think this could actually end up helping Mooney's fantasy value more than Chase Claypool, because you'll see Claypool take that coverage over the top. I think it'll put him in a more of a comfortable position, that being Mooney. And I think he's going to be the one that really benefits from it this year. You'll see Mooney go to a mid-grade wide receiver 2, I think, by the end of the year. And I think Claypool will be a low-end wide receiver 2 with that Tyler Lockett boom-bust potential, because Justin Fields can throw downfield, and Chase Claypool is the perfect target for that. So he'll have his really good weeks, and he'll have his really bad weeks for you.
Yeah, I'm with Ron. I don't think – I mean, it's going to take him a couple weeks to get acclimated. They'll have some design plays for him. They'll take shots at him, but I don't think he's going to be a volume monster or anything off the start, right off the start. So I would not play him this week, especially let him get acclimated and see what it looks like. So I'm going to go to Ryan on this one, since poor Ryan hasn't been able to get a word in. So Jeff Wilson got traded. Jeff Wilson got traded to the Dolphins. How does this impact Mostert? Is he going to split with him, or is he just going to be a handcuff for Mostert, and Mostert's going to continue to dominate the touches?
I think the touches become a split. I think Mostert will keep the passing work, the receiving work, but I think as far as touches, it'll become a split. Kind of, I don't know. I think really hurt it. I think it does hurt Mostert's fantasy value. But I think he does keep the receiving work as far as PPR leads go.
I think he's somebody you definitely need on your roster, though. We saw what Jeff Wilson was doing right before Christian McCaffery came in and absolutely buried his fantasy value. If anything, I think this might actually save a lot of his fantasy value being traded to the Dolphins. They're looking to rebuild that 49ers backfield there in Miami, and what we've seen with Raheem Mostert in his past is he doesn't stay healthy, and at the volume of work he's getting right now, he may not stay healthy for the season. So you may get some good work out of Jeff Wilson at some point this season.
Yeah, if Mostert goes down, I think he's a RB2 for sure. I think the split, in my opinion, is probably going to be like 70-30, 65-35. I think Mostert will get probably like 15 carries a game, and Wilson will get between 7 and 9. That's my guess. So I agree. It's going to be a little bit of a split. But
is he a viable flex?
Wilson?
Yes.
No, I wouldn't do that just yet. No. See what it looks like first. Anything else on Wilson?
No, I think that's a pretty good assessment of him.
Chase Edmonds was part of this trade as well. No, he wasn't. Wrong team. Chase Edmonds was traded from the Dolphins to the Broncos as part of the Bradley Chubb trade. So Chase Edmonds joins Latavius Murray and Melvin Gordon. In my opinion, this is just a wasteland of a fantasy backfield here. I am not interested in really starting any of them. Do you guys feel the same?
Fuck this backfield.
Truth.
Okay, I'm going to move on. TJ Hockenson. The Lions trade their top 10 draft pick tight end in the division. They got to see him twice now to the Vikings. So Kirk Cousins has sucked at throwing to the tight end since he's been in Minnesota. So what's the fantasy value of Hockenson going forward?
This is a Ryan question. He's a Hockenson fan.
I was going to say that's Ryan's boy right there.
Big Hockenson guy. So my thing, they definitely went out and got him for a reason. And I know everybody thought, I mean, including me, thought it might be an Irv Smith breakout year. Obviously, that's over. So I think that they might make a conscious effort to get Hockenson involved. I mean, they went out and got him for a reason. So I'm hoping that it's because they intend on using him.
Ryan, what's his ceiling going forward?
Oh, I don't know.
Give us a prediction.
You're trying to back me into a cold take, is what you're doing.
Yes, I am.
I'd say top 5 is a ceiling.
Yeah, I mean Hawkinson's super talented. Like
Yeah.
if he gets the looks and gets the work, then he could easily be top 5. It all depends on what it looks like and if Cousins is going to him. I think they do kind of need some help. I mean, I think Justin Jefferson hasn't had a touchdown in like a couple
Since week
weeks.
1.
Yeah,
Tell
so
me about it.
so
Crazy.
like they need the red zone help. So hopefully Hockenson gives them that.
Yep.
So does he finish in the top 5 by the end of the year?
Quit
I
trying
don't
to
know.
back people in the corners, Joe.
I don't know.
What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, Joe, what do you think?
Yeah, Joe.
I'm going to say no.
Fringe.
Top 10?
Yeah, definitely.
Top 10 so easy.
Yeah. I mean,
So easy.
He'll get one more touchdown this year and he'll be in top 10.
the biggest question for me, like I definitely think he'll be relevant this season, is just how relevant he is this week.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
So if you have him, you're probably playing him. I think he's going to step right in that Irv Smith role. I don't know how quick he'll pick up the playbook or how fast he'll be implemented in the offense, but if you have him, you're probably going to play him. So good luck. Next trade, I didn't like this trade at all. Nyheim Hines traded the Bills. We saw James Cook kind of get going in the last game. He had that big catch, looked explosive. And then they trade for a guy that really does the same thing that he does. So I didn't really understand that. But what do you guys think about Nyheim Hines of the Bills?
I think it kills Singletary because most of his points have come from receiving, and Nyheim Hines is the receiving guy.
I kind of like this value for Nyheim Hines. I could see him ending the year as a running back too. I think he's going to absolutely squash Singletary's passing volume, as Ryan just stated.
Wait,
I like this take, and you're an asshole for hitting the big shit button.
do you think Singletary stays good? Is that what
You think you just said Nyheim Hines is an RB2? I can't sit here.
I think
and
he could
accept
be.
that.
No, but
Not this
Ryan,
week,
help
but
me
going
out.
forward after that.
would this trade have happened if Jonathan Taylor stayed healthy, or do you think those flashes that Nyheim Hines showed, like, put him on the market?
I think they don't want to pay him going forward. That's what I think is the reason why they traded him. They liked what they saw with their other guy.
Yeah. This just further confirms I'm out on the Bills' backfield.
Yep. All right, boys, we have a comment. Kyle
Sure.
Singer says, I have Aaron Jones, Monty, Hunt, Pollard, Murray, Patterson, Godwin, Lockett, Diggs, Boyd, Waller, Ingram, Tunyon. The question is, the guy in his league wants Godwin, Pollard, and Boyd for Tyreek Hill. Do I do it? And if so, my running backs would all have bye weeks in week 14.
Potentially the playoffs.
No.
But you are going to have Hill and Diggs,
Mhm.
who are probably two of the top wide receivers in the league.
Montgomery.
And that would leave him with
Murray,
Aaron
Henderson.
Jones, Montgomery, Hunt, Pollard,
he
Patterson.
says his only running back he would have is Murray for week 14. Oof.
First off, I like this trade. Godwin hasn't been doing anything crazy. Pollard's in a timeshare, and Boyd won't be anything once Chase comes back. Really, he'll have his weeks.
It's true.
So this will give him Tyreek Hill, who's been playing monster, and Stephon Diggs, who's been very consistent.
Kyle, if you're 5-3 and he's 4-4, you're trying to get to the playoffs anyway. Make this trade now and try to figure out your running back position before we
Make this trade. Go see if Deion Jackson's still on your waivers.
Are playoffs
Pick
still
him up.
happening week 14 in leagues? Like, isn't it usually after the bye weeks that you would...
15 is usually there's 3 weeks of playoffs in most leagues. There's
Yeah.
18 in the season now, so it's 15, 16, 17 is usually the playoffs.
It's not during playoffs, and hell yeah.
Yeah, as long as you can
I
make
would-
the playoffs, even if
I would do it. It's probably a fair trade. I agree, Kyle. You're getting the best player, and yeah, I would probably do it.
Yeah. Like I said, I would go see if Deion Jackson's on your waiver wire and pick him up, and just really pay attention to running back waivers every week.
pick up some nice cuffs and hope for an injury.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know Pollard is not on bye week 14. Pollard's on bye this week. Was that?
Yeah.
That wasn't one of the people in the trade.
But
Well,
that's-
he- yeah, it is.
He
He had to give him up.
We're all riding this wagon.
Praying nobody gets hurt.
That
Yeah,
is
I've been killed by that this year.
Football.
We're all on the train. We'll crash and burn together.
One person hits the button, Joseph.
You don't even know if I'm the one hitting it.
Yes, I do.
Joe's the one hitting it.
All right, let's keep rolling. Zach Moss got traded to the Colts as part of the Nyheim Hines trade. What do we think? Like, I know everyone loves Deion Jackson now, but is Zach Moss going to be the guy that takes over for Jonathan Taylor when he doesn't play because of his ankle injury?
No.
He could be. He could be.
I just want to mention something I was going to say earlier. I'm all aboard the sell Jonathan Taylor train. as you guys saw, get him out of there, especially for redraft.
Selling to anybody but your wife because, like Christian's league. Or his wife sold Jonathan Taylor to him. So you could.
Fournette and Hockenson, I think I sent him away for. So
I mean, in your league, if you can get Tyreek Hill for Jonathan Taylor, do that.
Yes.
1,000%.
Oh, definitely. I wish I could have done that.
Kyle, thanks for joining the Heckling Fandom. And if you didn't see at the beginning of the episode, we are running Miles Sanders card. So subbing is one of the things you have to do. Like this episode, say you're part of the Heckling Fandom and leave us an Apple review because we are on Apple as well. And at the end of the season, we're going to put your name in Ron's Discussing Hat, and you could potentially win an autographed Miles Sanders card. So thanks for joining the Heckling Fandom, and go ahead and do that.
Do you think Deion's one crazy week, though, has secured his role as RB2?
I don't think it secured it. I think it secured his role this week.
I think him and Moss will get touches. All right, I'm going to move on because we got a lot to cover. Last trade, fantasy relevant trade. Calvin Ridley got traded to the Jags. Obviously, he's not playing this year. He's not fantasy relevant this year. But dynasty-wise, what do you guys think his value is, Joe?
I love it.
Well, I traded a 2024 second-round pick and a third this year. He's got to keep the mental health in check, but I think this will reinvigorate him. He's been away from football for a year, so I think he's going to be able to keep himself in check. I think Trevor Lawrence throwing him the ball, so a nice young quarterback, is going to potentially build him up a little bit. Across from him, he's got another decent wide receiver over there where he can kind of slot in as 1A and 1B there. I think they're going to bring him in comfortably, ease him in, so I don't think he'll come right out of the gates running, but I think he'll be a nice, solid wide receiver 2 for you next year by the end of the year.
And he definitely has top 5 wide receiver upside.
He does, but I don't think that's going to be the evaluation for him next year. Like I said, I think they'll try to ease him in and not overwhelm him next year.
Well,
he's a Florida kid too. He'll do good.
That's true.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Question: being suspended, can he take part in any team stuff whatsoever? He can't do anything until off season.
No,
right?
he's not even reinstated yet. He has to get reinstated by the commissioner, so he's completely.
No, I like it. I almost offered you a 2023 second. I was just getting ready to send it, and then it went through. So, some buyer's remorse for you, JJ.
All right, let's move on. Anyone have anything else for the news? Trade deadline.
Do we want to cover any of the ones that happened earlier in the week? James Robinson or anyone else, or no?
James Robinson was last week.
It was last week. I think we covered that one.
We mentioned.
Was there anyone in between? I feel like there was one more trade.
Well,
all defensive.
Yeah, it doesn't. Probably. We mentioned it briefly. Brandon Cooks not getting traded. Do you think he just throws a fit and doesn't play the rest of the season? What do you guys think happens?
Well, right now it looks like the Texans are going to beat the Eagles with him not playing. So,
what do we think that looks like? How nervous are you in a redraft?
They said the latest is that they're going to try and reset with him next week and talk to him again. So it's on Brandon Cooks. Are you really going to sit out the whole year and be a petty douche, or are you going to play some damn football?
If he does sit, I love the value of Nico Collins going forward for the rest of the season because who else are they going to throw to?
He's got to get healthy, but Philip Dorsett has multiple catches tonight, and Chris Moore scored the touchdown.
There's your answer.
So
And don't forget, not this year, but they're going to have their rookie, John Mechie, back next year too.
hopefully, yeah, as long as his
He's
treatment's good.
on IR in my dynasty league.
Yep. All right, let's get into a really quick recap of Week 8 since we missed it.
Playoffs?
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
You play to win the game.
You play
All
to
right.
win the game.
You do. That was for Joe, the Jets. Herm Edwards, Jets. It's prime right there.
Can we
Chet
talk about
Pennington, man.
the Jets Patriots game that Joe and I went to when Joe
Oh,
was
Have the other
finally
floor,
going
Ryan.
to witness a Jets win, and it didn't happen. And it was
I
hurt.
wanted to exercise those demons so bad, and I thought we were going to go up 17-3, but the Zebras just had to give you the flag, give you all the momentum. You're way less talented than our team, and you still walk away with a win because you have the better.
way less talented. Your QB threw 3 interceptions.
Our whole rest of our roster is better than your roster. I just don't. I'm so tired of losing to you for the last 20 years. I thought this was the game, and it just wasn't. I am so fucking fed up with it.
The Jets should trade for Bailey Zappi.
Yes.
Yeah, I was hoping Joe would get drunk and frustrated enough to storm the field and provide me with some entertainment Sunday while the Bears are getting whooped, but it didn't happen.
My favorite part was him screaming and his voice cracking, and the lady in front of us turning around, looking shocked.
Yeah, I screamed the whole game. Pissed the people off behind us because I was standing the whole game.
Hey, that's all right. You were into it.
That happened to me the last game I was at, too. People in front of us stood, so we stood, and then the guy behind us started almost crying because he was mad we were standing. But
luckily, when you're 5 feet tall, no one cares if you stand.
I was going to say, Ryan, the picture of the bachelor party, like one of the individuals was not as big as the other ones.
One of
It
these
was
things
noticeable.
is not like the other.
I need to stop hanging out with tall people. Like all my groomsmen at my wedding were all 6 feet tall. And it
Well,
didn't
to be fair, everyone's tall to you.
be fair.
To be
To be
fair.
fair.
Obnoxiously
To be
tall.
fair.
Need to get some short friends.
But yeah, the fantasy takeaway that I brought out of that game is the Jets' running game was not very effective, but they are going to be in a lot of game scripts where they're going to fall behind because of that running game not being effective. So Garrett Wilson is a must start going forward. He looked like a boss, regardless of the play of Zach Wilson.
Because Elijah Moore doesn't know what his chemistry is like with Zach Wilson because he doesn't get the ball.
No,
Right.
he's going to take the Denzel Mims route and be on the bench for 2 years and finally get some work.
What did he play? Like 8 snaps? What
10.
was 10 snaps?
10
That's
snaps.
crazy.
All right. So for the recap, we're not going game by game. It happened a while ago. I'm just going to touch on some points, season-long points that I brought up.
Okay.
So 4 quarterbacks, Justin Fields, fantasy outlook for Fields the rest of the season.
Easily
QB1.
top 12.
He's been the QB2 since week 5. So probably top 10, top 5 quarterback going forward.
That rushing ability with him really helps his floor for fantasy.
But I don't like any of the receivers.
Yeah, he's got the Lions twice the rest of the year. He's got the Dolphins. He's got the Jets. He's got someone else easy.
You got the Patriots
really-
this time, don't you?
What's that?
Yeah, don't you play the Patriots again?
No.
No.
We do in Madden if that game ever happens between you and I.
Listen, tell Joe to get his week done.
Are you guys
I
still
bet-
in like week 3
Week
or
6.
something like that?
Week
Week
6.
6, we're on.
That's only been maybe
Play-
don't play 12-minute quarters like a bunch of weirdos.
I've been busy, boys.
All right.
So TJ, he's won the games the last 3 hours.
I'd like my
the whole
stats to
Sunday.
be realistic.
They freaking
There-
they have a full
I
calendar
still-
to have.
You have to be playing on all Madden.
It's all pro.
We're playing all Madden.
If I had 12-minute quarters on all pro, I would.
All right, we're getting sidetracked. I'm going to
Here
move
we
on.
go.
I I can get 1,000 yards passing on 7-minute quarters.
Well, yeah, Ron, but that's your team with Josh Allen, Stephon
No,
Diggs, Tyreek
that's
Hill,
my
Jalen Waddle.
83 overall team this
All
year.
right, Ron,
That
you
doesn't have
got
anybody.
your Twitch set up. Next time you play Madden, why don't we just watch and see just how great you are? All right.
All right.
All right. Moving on. Joe Burrow. Tough Monday night versus the Browns, who have been struggling. Is he in trouble without Jamar Chase or for at least these next couple of weeks? What do we think?
What's his matchups after this week?
It's definitely
Well, this week still matters.
It's not going to be great. I'm probably like low end quarterback one.
He plays the Panthers this week at home.
That'll be a little
tough.
tough.
Get back on track.
That'll be tough for him this week. They got a pretty good front seven.
But yeah, I guess it defines on how you mean by get back on track. Like I think low end QB1, like probably a quarterback 10 or 11 finish.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that too.
I'm going to say QB7.
All right.
Aaron Rodgers, is he startable? This feels so great to say.
Against the Lions, absolutely.
Yeah, against that defense, he may put on a clinic.
Ron says no.
Really, Ron? Why not?
This would be his game just to take out all of his frustration. Like, this is the team to do it against.
Have you guys watched Aaron Rodgers this year?
Yeah, he's been terrible. His
Have you
thumbs
watched the
hurt.
Lions defense this year?
Yeah, but I don't trust his receivers. Allen Lazard might not play. I mean, we've already seen Romeo Doubs can not fumble, but just not catch balls. Like, I think there's going to be an Aaron Jones game. And maybe
he can throw to Aaron Jones.
No, I think they're just going to run the ball and just do it that way. I don't see them.
I don't know.
Aaron Rodgers probably going to finish with like 270 and a touchdown.
I'd start Rodgers full confidence this week.
Yep, he's a lock for me.
JJ? I think he's startable versus the Lions, but
after that, I don't know.
Not feeling great. So
I'd rather start Justin Fields this week over Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, easily. That's not even close.
That also is so nice to hear. Okay.
JJ, does he play the Bears soon? Are you super ready for it?
He does play the Bears in a few weeks. That's one of the easy games that the Bears have coming up. It's in Chicago. We're going to get him. All right.
One of these times.
I will watch that game just to see what that crowd says and does to him.
That's like me calling my shot saying we're going to get the Patriots.
It's going to be hostile.
Nice. He was not nice that season when he was there.
It's going to be hostile.
Ryan, our whole section was hostile. There was people trying to start fights in our section.
I know. Well, PSA, if you're a grown man and you get in a fight at a NFL football game, you're a man-child.
But you're also fun to watch on Barstool.
True. You are entertaining for everybody else, but
you embarrass yourself and get barred from the stadium. All right, Sam Ellinger. What's he going to do to Michael Pittman the rest of the year? The offense did not throw at the volume it did with Matt Ryan. They tried to run more. What do we think?
He's going to be fine with Michael Pittman. So he got 9 targets last week, almost had 2 touchdowns. He dropped one, and then he dropped another 30-yard pass. So I think Michael Pittman's value is going to be very good going forward.
I think
you saw the volume.
He stays a solid wide receiver 2 with wide receiver 1 upside. He's still the leading receiver in targets and receptions. Might not be as explosive as before, but he's still going to be their guy.
And the nice thing with Ellinger is he's going to move around. He doesn't get stuck in the pocket like Matt Ryan did, so he'll give Pittman more time to get open. So I think you see him. You might even see bigger shots down the field than you did with Matt Ryan. So chunk yardage, which is always nice.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a decline in the number of turnovers, well, Matt Ryan was turning the ball over a lot. So if they can actually start to sustain drives, it just opens up more opportunities.
All right. So we're not worried. Running backs, only brought up 2. Joe Mixon had 7 receptions, but other than that, looked pretty bad running the ball. He has all season. He's averaging 3.3 yards a carry, and I know that's circumstantial in most cases, but his efficiency metrics, everything yards after contact, he's not looked great this year. So what do we think going forward? Do you try and dump him if you can?
I'd rather have someone like Dante Foreman more than Joe Mixon right now.
Oof.
Honestly, going forward, I do not like what I've been seeing from Joe Mixon, and that's really ugly for me to say.
His volume, though, I feel like his volume just keeps him alive.
Yeah, Chuba Hubbard's coming back. That's going to ruin Dante Foreman's volume.
Yeah, like Joe Mixon, like the inefficiency is terrible, but the volume's there.
Okay.
Shit's gross to watch.
So 2022 Mixon is now the 2021 Najee Harris.
Yes.
All right. Running back Antonio Gibson. Again, Joe and I had an apology bet on this.
I will be reading one soon.
Who's going to have more PPR fantasy points, Antonio Gibson or Brian Robinson? Gibson blew him out of the water, looked great catching the ball. And we also have McKissick with a neck injury now. So going forward, is Antonio Gibson going to replace himself at the top of the depth chart again and get his touches back?
I don't know about touches, but I definitely think Antonio Gibson gets the receiving work. I think they split 8 and 7 last week with carries. Both were pretty inefficient with them, but Gibson crushed him in the receiving work.
He could be their poor man's Tony Pollard soon. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from him.
The way I mean, this is exactly what we wanted.
Yeah.
Brian Robinson handing the early down, mixing it in with Gibson, and then Gibson getting the passing work.
Yep.
So I think Gibson finishes more because when they're in negative game scripts, and it's the Commanders, so they're going to be in a lot of them, they're going to have to pass the ball, and Gibson will be on the field.
Won 3 straight.
Yeah, but they've been in negative game scripts.
Yeah,
agreed. They literally won this last game on a very last-minute touchdown.
A little Heineke magic.
Yeah, I loved all of it.
I did too. Good guy.
Is Amazon going to buy the Commanders?
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, Jeff Bezos is shopping right now.
Amazon's just going to own everything.
He's going to buy them and get one-day shipping from Prime.
And it's 50% my wife's fault because she buys 7 boxes from them a day.
Yeah, I haven't packed it every time I come
There's
home.
nothing in the bucket?
No,
I don't know what's in there. I just bring it upstairs. What happens after that, I don't know.
Probably should look into that. All right. Moving on. Wide receiver. So DJ Moore finally had a monster game. He's clicking with PJ Walker. What do we think? Are we selling him high? Are we riding this wave with DJ Moore?
No, you have to ride this train. He's their number one option going forward.
All right.
I don't trust anything about this Panthers offense.
Go ahead.
So a yes and a no. Ryan be the tiebreaker.
No, I'm keeping him. I'm riding with it.
Me too. I think he's eating up. All right. Elijah Moore. Is he 100% draftable in redraft?
Drop him.
Yeah, like 5 weeks ago.
Yeah, like as soon as he cried on Twitter, you should have known.
Should have known.
He's in the doghouse. Drop him.
Look, he's not one of those guys that would cry on Twitter. But he's just saying, like,
he loves his teammates, guys. Leave him alone.
He loves his teammates, but he's not one of those guys to cry on Twitter about not getting targets.
Right.
Did you see the quote after the game when he was being interviewed? They're like, so what's going on with you? He's like, I don't know. I don't get the ball.
Yeah. What's your chemistry like with Zach Wilson? There's none. I don't ever get the ball.
Fuck you. I don't know.
I mean, I like the answer, to be honest.
It's a truthful
Zach
answer.
Wilson, who's that?
Yeah, drop him.
All right. And last, Romeo Dobbs got back on track week 8. Had the 6th touchdown catch versus the Bills. Got his targets back up. We trust him as a flex, even if Lazard comes back.
Against the Lions? Yes. Same answer.
Start him.
He's got big playability.
Intercepted. What?
Was that a pick 6 or just an interception?
Not a pick 6, but he was intercepted.
Okay. All right. We're not commenting on the Thursday night football game. It's something else. Tight end. Only name I have on here is Dalton Schultz, Joe. Him and Dak have a great chemistry. We saw that click. Obviously, Amari Cooper's no longer there in Dallas. So Dak is very trusting in Dalton Schultz. What do we think of his fantasy outlook going forward?
It's going to be solid going forward. I think it's right at the cusp of 5 or 6 by the end of the year.
Tight end 1 for sure.
No doubt.
Agreed.
That's because tight ends suck this year, except for the top 2.
All right. We're way behind schedule. I'm getting into the game previews.
Well, JJ, that's what happens when you have to stuff 3 shows into one super show.
It is. It is.
We are having a great time, though. That's most
Yeah.
important.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
Got a sub. All right, so let's get into week 9. We're finally into the future now that we're done with the past. So let's go ahead and get started right away. So we have week 9, the Chargers, 3-point favorites going into Atlanta versus Falcons. So my first question on here was, are you worried about Donald Parham's impact on Gerald Everett? But Donald Parham hurt his hamstring yesterday and was a DNP today, and I don't think he's going to play. So what do we think about Gerald Everett in this game without Mike Williams and probably without Keenan Allen?
Start him. Do it.
Start him.
Start him. Full ride.
All right. Where are you ranking Josh Palmer? Is he a wide receiver 2 this week? Locked in, play him for sure?
He's top 25.
Top 25.
You couldn't just do top 24 to say he was wide receiver 2. You had to go one.
Top 25 overall or top 25?
Oh, really? Am I taking criticism for the guy who's got his chair turned towards the TV half this episode?
Do we have your attention, Ron?
I answered the question, did I not?
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained?
How dare you watch?
Yes, top 25.
Sorry, I just don't have my phone just set in front of me like you do, JJ.
Yes, JJ.
It's not. It's not.
What are you talking about?
As JJ and I both look.
We're never getting through this episode.
Oh, we are. Yeah.
We're doing great.
All right. Kyle Pitts, Joe. Is he going to keep this momentum up? He finally had a good game, 80-plus yards, a touchdown. Is he going to keep it rolling?
For this game, he will. I don't know if he will pass this game, but they're going to get into a negative game script pretty quick, so it's going to force him to pass the ball. So Kyle Pitts will have 2 solid weeks in a row. Beyond that, I don't have a crystal ball for that, but yeah, you can play him this week.
The Chargers have allowed the 8th most yards to tight ends, and if I remember correctly, something similar happened with Pitts last year. Just got hot at the end of the year and pretty much made up for everything. So I hope he keeps. I mean, I was a Kyle Pitts hater, but I have him in Dynasty, so I hope he keeps it going.
All right. My last question on this game. What are we doing with Drake London?
Benching him.
Yep.
No trust? Ron?
No.
Yeah, bench him. Wait, Ryan, what Dynasty League do you have Kyle Pitts?
Pretty sure it's my stepbrother's Dynasty.
Oh, I thought there was a trade that happened that I didn't recognize.
No.
Joe will never give up Kyle Pitts. I tried.
No, he won it.
I tried.
Not happening.
London hasn't finished higher than wide receiver 49 or with more than 40 yards since week 3. And he has no touchdowns. Keep him on the bench.
Someday it'll happen. All right. As far as starters, you're starting Herbert, you're starting Eckler, you're starting Josh Palmer, and on the Falcons side, you're starting Kyle Pitts, and that's probably it. Mariota in a
Cordell
2QB
Patterson
league.
if he plays.
Patterson if he plays. I think he's probably going to wait a week, but that's just my guess.
How fast do you think he works in? Do you think as soon as he's healthy, it's just bat to?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
He said he was like 90%. So
do we think Tyler Algier has a big game if Patterson is not in?
I think if
No.
I think if Patterson's even playing, I think he's got flex potential because I think he would get that rushing work, and the San Diego defense is pretty bad against the running game.
Yeah.
So I think Algier could have at least a flex-worthy kind of game.
I agree.
What about Huntley, who has had more carries than yards?
What's up?
That's why I don't think Tyler Algier would be flex, because I think you see Cordell Patterson get most of the work, and then Huntley and Algier will split the other work. So I don't think, even against a good defense, I don't think he'd be.
So
Adam
RB3
is here, and I'm going to use
I'm not answering him because I'm not his favorite.
Yeah.
Duvernay.
I will answer this question with my new microphone, Adam. Thank you for that. Adam says, coming from his second favorite host, not from the mouth of JJ, his first favorite host, help AJ Dillon or Duvernay in the flex this week. We'll get this answer from his favorite host, JJ. Who's he starting?
I don't want to steer him wrong. It's my guy. Adam's my guy. It's tough because, oh boy, Spotlight's on. A.J. Dillon has been so bad, but this is a real opportunity for him to get rolling. And the Packers need to learn that they're a running team. And Dillon started to get a little bit more involved in the Bills game. However, Rashad Bateman's out for the year. And when that's happened, Duvernay has gotten lots of touches and carries. So I'm going to say Devin Duvernay is who I play in a PPR league.
JJ has spoken.
From podcaster numero uno.
That's a tough call, though, because Dillon is due. It's a great matchup, but he's just not gotten the touches. And Duvernay has gotten the touches when Bateman's out. So I'm going to go with Duvernay. And if I'm wrong, I don't know. Come up with a punishment for me.
You're demoted to number 4.
You'll have to formally apologize.
Give me
to Adam
2.
next
Come
week.
on.
You can formally apologize to Adam on the podcast next week.
I will formally apologize, yes. All right. Moving on. Dolphins at Bears. Dolphins.
Wait a minute. We didn't say who was going to win.
Okay. Who's winning the game? Everyone picked the Chargers, I believe.
Yes.
Chargers.
I think I picked the Chargers. Yeah, I don't have anything.
Okay. Ron, I'm going to need the energy up. All right, moving on. Dolphins at Bears. Will Justin Fields stay hot?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Previous question, basically.
Adam said he knew his number 1 wouldn't steer him wrong.
We got you.
Yes,
All
play
right.
Justin Fields.
Fields agreed. I think he's definitely startable. QB1 this week. All right. Will Claypool have an impact in the first game? We really touched on this. I don't think so. I think there'll be a few design plays to him, but it is bold to play him this week.
Yeah, I say no way.
I think you
I
have to
also
rest
say
him this
no
week.
way.
All right. Khalil Herbert and David Montgomery splitting pretty much 50-50 at this point. Are both startable? I say yes.
Both are startable, but this is kind of interesting because we see David Montgomery getting in the field still 70% of the time, obviously because he's the blocker, but Montgomery has been the one that's actually been more effective on the field. But yeah, even being a little bit more effective. No, I believe
Flip-flop that.
Khalil Herbert's been the one on the field 70% of the time, really?
Not 70%. You said Herbert's a blocker. Montgomery's a better blocker.
No, I meant Montgomery's a blocker,
Yeah.
and that's why he's been on the field 70% of the time. So obviously with the volume, he's definitely playable, but Khalil Herbert's been very viable because he's just been good. So yeah, you can play both of them.
Here's a stat for you. Khalil Herbert has 1 less carry than David Montgomery, but he has 200 yards rushing more.
Yeah.
So he's leads the NFL in yards per carry for running backs. He's been great, but Montgomery's been doing all the dirty stuff, the 3rd and 1s, 4th and 1s, all the short yardage stuff. So both are viable, I would say.
I know you were saying that they may move on from David Montgomery next year, JJ, but I think they may re-sign him. They like the blocking work.
Yeah, I think so. They have the money, and they're a good tandem, really. They have a good balance, and they lead the league in rushing. So
I kind of thought they might consider trading him if the right offer came along.
yeah.
Did they get
I was
offers
thinking
on him, JJ? Do you know?
I don't know that. He was a 3rd-round pick for him, so they probably wanted that. I don't know.
Okay.
He could have, if he went somewhere like the Chiefs, that would have been good.
Optimal.
All right. Will Tua stay hot versus Roquan Smith list Bears?
This is unfortunate, but yes.
I mean, he has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle.
Right. You've got the 2 fastest people in the NFL. Like,
He's gonna
all
be
you have
fine.
to do is throw the ball 10 yards and they'll do the rest of the work for you. So
Yeah,
He's a must-start.
Jalen Johnson's a good cornerback, but I just don't see a way that both those guys get slowed down by the Bears defense.
yeah. He can't cover both people. Like,
Yeah. One of them's going to have a monster game. All right. And can we trust Mike Gesicki? He's been playing really good lately, doing terrible touchdown celebrations, getting involved in the offense. What do we think? Ron, you say no?
no, I mean, you got to start him. It's a high-powered offense, lots of touchdown upside. I just really wanted the Giants to trade for Mike Gesicki. I know there wasn't a lot of talk about him being on the trade block. There was in the offseason with Bellinger being out because he got poked in the eye so hard it broke the bone, that we could have used a really athletic tight end like Gesicki. Our offense kind of used the tight end quite a bit. So if we could have got Gesicki and Judy, I would have been so happy.
But you didn't.
But we didn't. We didn't do anything because why would we?
Never mind.
We're only 6-2, I guess. It's fine. Hardest
I think
part of our schedule coming up. Whatever. It's no big deal.
I think he's worth a start. He's finished as a top 10 tight end in 2 of the last 4 games. Definitely gets the red zone look. So you can start him.
All right. Who we got in this one? I picked the Dolphins.
Wow, some fan you are.
Give me the Dolphins.
I had to do it after last week, trying to pick.
I also picked the Dolphins
in Dallas.
Although Dolphins at only -5, like I'm about it.
All right. Moving on. Panthers at Bengals. Bengals 7-point favorites. Will DJ Moore stay hot after we saw Amari Cooper dismantle this Bengals secondary?
Yes. He's in for a good game.
Yeah, he should be all right.
All right. Yeah, Davis Mills, you throw a fade to Rex Burkhead.
Like what?
Did he catch it?
No.
It was not good. It was bad. All right. Deontay Foreman. Is he set it and forget it? Even if Chuba Hubbard returns. Joe, I'm going to let you go because you had a lot of confidence in him and said you like him more than Joe Mixon.
I am so sick of Ron Seymour saying that Chuba Hubbard is going to cut into this work. They already called Chuba Hubbard the starter, and they still gave Dante Foreman the work. He is more talented. He is not going to come to the work. Yes, he's a start and forget it starter for the rest of the season. Chuba Hubbard ain't going to do shit for him when he gets back. Chuba Hubbard is not the guy.
Let me rewind the clock a little bit here. Roughly, I don't know, 9 weeks or so. Where me and Joe.
Do you want the clock? I can give you the clock.
No, I don't need the clock. Where me and Joe had a disagreement about a couple running backs on a team in, down south. And where I said one of them wouldn't be fantasy viable most of the year, where the other one was more explosive and would take over the job. I'm just going to say one of us was right on that, and the other one was wrong.
Yeah, that's funny. We go back 2 years. You say Justin Jefferson wasn't going to be that viable for fantasy football. Funny how that
we go back.
Out.
We go. No, I said
everyone makes bad takes.
No. I said Justin Jefferson wasn't going to be worth the draft pick. Still wrong, but I did not say he wouldn't be fantasy viable. But you were also the one that said Jacoby Brissett was going to unseat Tua Tagovailoa. That was egregious.
Joe also we're just talking about cold takes. Joe also compared Jonathan Taylor to Trent Richardson last year.
That's true.
And not to mention, Chuba Hubbard got injured, and that's why Dante Foreman got all the work.
But Dante Foreman's been crushing it, so I think they ride the hot hand. I don't see.
Yeah, he's good. He's fantasy viable. He's
definitely fantasy viable. That's not what I'm saying.
But Hubbard will get work if he's in.
Definitely going to come in and get work.
They'll split if he plays. All right. We talked about Burrow's outlook without Chase. We already covered that. What do you guys think about Tyler Boyd without Chase? Flex, wide receiver 2?
Wide receiver 2.
Wide receiver 2. I mean, he has his weeks where even with the other 2 there, he breaks out. But, I mean, he's not there. So, yeah, he's a wide receiver 2.
All right. Agreed. That's all I have for this one. I got the Bengals at home. Rebounding.
Bengals.
I think I also have the Bengals.
I'm pretty sure I put the Bengals.
Everyone did. All right. Next game, Packers 3.5-point favorites in Detroit. Is this a game where retro Aaron Rodgers gets going versus the pathetic Lions defense?
Yes.
Yeah, they kind of are.
Lions the one that doesn't seem sold on it.
I don't trust it.
Okay.
I just lost to the Giants, the Jets, and the last one was the Bills. No, they've lost 4 in a row. Who is the 4th one? They lost to the Giants, the Jets, the Bills,
Commanders. No,
and the Commanders.
Yeah. Commanders.
Yeah.
All significantly better defenses than the Lions.
And all significantly worse offenses than the Lions.
Oh, I mean, I'm not saying that the
outside of the Bills, obviously.
But I don't know. I think this is the game.
I picked the Lions to win.
Damn.
I was close. I really was.
I would love that, just to be honest.
We know, JJ. We know.
I love the negative takes on the Packers. I think Rodgers puts up like 250 and 2 as a QB1 game, but I don't think he throws for 403 or anything like that. But I think he'll have a decent game. Without Hockenson, is Amon-Ra St. Brown about to have a huge second half like he had last year?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, because it's not just no Hockenson. I mean, Swift is banged up too.
Yeah.
Swift banged up. Jameson Williams still not back. Great. I think St. Brown's a wide receiver 1 this week. 3, Romeo Doubs. We talked about him already, really. I think he has some momentum. I would start him as a flex, personally.
Yeah, I think you could easily start him as a flex with confidence. I mean, like you said, we don't know if Lazard's going to play. You know, the Lizard King over there, Sammy Watkins, is annoying as shit playing in that offense. Although they like to put him on 78% of snaps, I don't know why. Just play Dubs and get it over with Packers. Like we know he's decent. Just throw him the ball.
Yes. Last question I had on this one is about AJ Dillon. Do you guys think he gets rolling? We talked about it earlier with Adam, but
I don't trust him. I can't do it.
I don't think he can either.
I mean, he had, what was it, 10 touches last week in a decent game. If this is a game if he could get going in. If he's going to get going at all this season, this is the one. I think you can play him this week.
He's a fringe flex. I really think he scores this week, and then that is hard.
That might be all you get. Like it might be 6.2 points.
Jones has been running really good. Like he's had when they get him the ball, he runs well. So it's tough. All right, I got the Packers in this one. I think everyone had the Packers except Ron had the Lions.
I may change that later on in the week. I'm very much going back and forth with it, but I've got the Packers for now.
Actually, Ryan didn't put anything.
That was I was conflicted. So my conflicted ones I left blank.
Okay.
But I'm convinced now I'm going Packers.
All right. Next game, we'll let Ryan take the lead on, but Colts at Patriots. Patriots 5.5-point favorites.
Ooh.
What is your level of trust in the Colts fantasy players with Sam Ehlinger? We talked about it a little bit. It sounds like you guys are good.
Pittman. I think it's only Pittman, wide receiver 2. Jonathan Taylor is looking like he's not going to play? ? Patriots have a really good front line, so probably just Pittman.
I'd say Alex Pierce is probably a flex player. I think he could throw it downfield to him. I'm glad to see the Paris Campbell experiment is over. I can't stand him doing anything fantasy relevant because his name gets brought up, as I told JJ in the last episode, for the last 35 years. So I think you could potentially play Alex Pierce in the flex, but very, very fringe. Like if you have better options, go that way. But
that's worth a consideration too, because the Patriots' MO is they're going to shut down your number 1 choice. So you could see Pittman just blanketed, and it could open it up for Alex Pierce.
Okay.
All right. And then we really talked about this earlier, but if Jonathan Taylor misses, Zach Moss and Deion Jackson, what's that split look like?
Deion Jackson leads the backfield.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we think it's going to take a little bit to get Moss incorporated into the offense.
Yes.
Last question I have on this one. Any Patriots player besides Ramondre Stevenson startable?
No.
Jacoby Myers in PPR.
Yeah, I forgot about Jacoby Myers.
Or
very much so.
If you have a freaking league that has kickers.
Ron, you want to talk about some kickers?
Nope.
I know you like to. All right.
But
There's
Jacoby Myers.
there's no kickers in my league.
I know that was a joke.
I am starting Jacoby Myers.
All right, Jacoby Myers and PPR. Ryan likes this week. Write it down. Open up the fanny pack. Take out your notepad and write it down.
He's a PPR monster. Always has been.
All right. In this one, I took the Patriots at home.
Hey, JJ joining the dark side. I like it.
Give me the
We all took the Patriots, yeah.
Ooh, I love it.
All right, next game could be a massacre. Bills at the Jets. Bills 12.5-point favorites. Question number 1, will Elijah Moore have a single reception?
No.
No.
I really don't think so. Like, I really don't.
No.
I wonder what his over-under is for receptions. Does anyone have that?
I don't have it.
No, he's in the doghouse. They
Let me
won't
see.
play him. They absolutely refuse to play him.
Do you think his over-under is literally 0.5?
No, it's probably like 2.5. I would guess 2.5. I'm going to say it's 3 catches in this one.
You think 3 catches is his?
3 catches. That's my guess.
I mean, they desperately need him in this game. But
They're going to have to
whether
throw.
they
They're
play
going to be
him or
down.
not
They're going to be down.
early.
Would you take the under or would you take the over?
I take the under. I take the under.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm just gambling in the middle of our.
That's
on the
all right.
fantasy podcast.
5%.
But let's see. I want to see what it is.
All right. Well, Ryan figures that out. Next question. Will the Jets continue the committee approach featuring disgusting Ty Johnson, James Robinson, and Michael Carter, or will they put Ty Johnson back on the bench where they belong and give Robinson the Breece Hall role and use Michael Carter as receiving back?
I think Michael Carter is going to be in for a pretty good week this week. He's very good in the passing game, and this is going to be a game script where they're falling behind early, and Robinson's still accumulating to the playbook, so I think they'll put in the guy that's familiar with the playbook, the person that they trust, and the one that can catch the ball out of the backfield. So I think Michael Carter could be in for a pretty good week this week.
Should I start him versus you?
What's that?
Should I start him versus you?
You probably should.
Okay, I'm not going to do it.
Connor Hine, welcome to the Heckling Fandom. He says, trade Jacobs, Jamar, Geno, Watson, and Olave for Mahomes, Stevenson, Lazard, and Diggs. I have Mixon, Walker, and Amon-Ra. So it sounds like he's flip-flopping half his team.
Jacobs. So you get the better QB.
Mm-hmm.
Stevenson and Jacobs are comparable this year. Jamar's hurt. Diggs is a top 3 receiver. Lazard, and I assume that's Christian Watson and Chris Olave. My goodness, it's a lot to process.
I think I like the – go ahead, Ron.
I think I like the Mahomes side.
I think I would do it.
Yeah.
Connor, make this trade.
Jamar's hurt. Could wind up on IR if he doesn't come back, and you got Diggs playing at a really high level. Some good matchups coming up. I think I would do it, and you get Mahomes versus Geno Smith. I would do it.
Make sure to like and subscribe to the show.
And to answer everybody's questions, Elijah Moore receptions is even an option. Apparently.
Hey,
So.
Jalen Hurts throwing a touchdown.
Take the
There, look at that.
To go dirt.
Oh.
Go deer.
Wow.
All right, last question for this game. Does Nyheim Hines have an impact this week?
No.
No, not yet.
All right, get him out of here. I picked the Bills. I think everyone picked the Bills.
Bills.
I had to.
Some fan you are.
We're gonna get our asses kicked before the bye week, and then we'll recoup after that and see what we get.
And continue to get your asses kicked.
And then lose to the Patriots at Gillette.
No, we'll get you at Gillette.
Feel Joe
His
Flacco.
undying optimism is amazing.
I've got to have optimism this year. I haven't been able to have optimism in any other year.
Joe,
Ron, if you keep moving your damn mic, I'm going to kill you. All I can hear is your mic moving.
Joe is a fan to a fault. Like every year, it's our year. It's our
I feel
year.
his pain. Yeah,
And he just, it's admirable. It's also sad, but admirable at the same time.
It's admirable.
It is admirable. It's a great term. Vikings at Commanders. Vikings 3.5-point favorites. Will TJ Hockenson have an immediate impact, fantasy wise?
Yes.
I was, if he gets a red zone, like it's gonna be dependent on like a red zone touchdown, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think he gets a touchdown that'll propel him into the top 10.
Yeah. That's what you need.
Okay, so if you have him, you're probably starting him. Justin Jefferson has not had a receiving touchdown since week 1, as mentioned earlier. Does he break the ice this week versus a vulnerable Washington secondary?
I think so.
I'll say yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
I agree. Who would you rather start, Brian Robinson or Antonio Gibson? And what does the split look like this week?
It's going to be Antonio Gibson. I mean,
Gibson because of the receiving work, PPR lead.
Yep.
And the Vikings are vulnerable in the middle of the field. So, yeah, play Gibson.
All right. Last question on this one. Is Taylor Heineke a viable streaming option, say, if you have Dak that's out this week? Would you play him
No.
at home versus Vikings?
Nope.
I would. Definitely. So in his 2 starts this season, he's finished QB 13 and QB 8. If you're in a 2 QB league,
Stats. Those are stats.
definitely a viable streaming option. Even a 1 QB league, like still borderline QB 1. So I think it's definitely a viable streaming option.
Okay. I'm not afraid of it. I would do it if I had to. I got the Vikings.
Give me the Vikings.
Who did I
Unfortunately.
pick? Does anyone have my spreadsheet?
You picked the Vikings. We all picked the Vikings.
Okay, Vikings.
Where's my spreadsheet?
All right. Next question.
I made notes
next
for
game.
this. You guys will know.
I appreciate that. Trying to make a run at the championship. I hear you, brother. I'm with you there. I've been pretty lucky this year. These guys will tell you.
You have.
John is like 3rd highest in points scored, but he's like 9th.
In what league?
I think it's our dynasty lead. You're not 9th, but you're
He's
like
8th.
bottom. Yeah. But
I know
like,
his ranking. I'm following his draft pick very, very closely.
dude's like 3rd in highest point scoring, but ranked 8th.
Yeah, I'm getting.
I have a
you should
league
trade
where I
Lamar.
lead the league in scoring by 150 points over every team, and I'm 4-4. So
Welcome to
Look,
fantasy
I'm
football.
in half tank mode in that dynasty mode right now. Dynasty.
Well, you're in a tough spot because you're scoring
you
points.
should really tank next year too. So whoever has your first round pick at 24 is rewarded. All right.
I take it.
Next, yes, it is. Next game, Raiders at Jaguars. Raiders 1.5 point favorites, coming off their embarrassing shutout where they couldn't cross the 50-yard line versus Saints. Will the Raiders offense get back on track this week?
Yes.
No.
No, the Giants defense is good. I think people.
The Giants beat them.
I don't know. I say no.
New week.
I'm going to put it in the middle. I say yes.
Raiders, Devontae Adams had like the flu going into last week's game. He did absolutely nothing. If you think he's going to do absolutely nothing again, you're insane.
Oh.
The Raiders are going to win this game.
But do you think it's like an offensive show out, or do you think it's like a?
I never said an offensive show out, but I said they will get back on track.
But the question is, does the offense get back on track? So from a fantasy perspective, do you see high points?
I do from Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs, you start Devontae Adams. Those guys are going to have very good games.
I say no, not about it.
I see this being a kind of weird game where the running backs get good work and the offenses kind of look sloppy. I like Josh Jacobs this week. I mean, you got to like Devontae Adams. He's a boss, but
the Raiders at
it'll be a sloppy game.
1.5 definitely take it.
All right. So some divided feelings on that one. Is Hunter Renfrow even considerable of a flex? Are you dropping him? What are we doing here? Carr is not even looking for him anymore.
Drop him.
The highest he's finished this season is wide receiver 43. That's his best performance.
Drop his ass.
Can't confirm that's not good.
Can confirm.
So cut it. Cut bait.
To be fair.
All right. Agreed. I'm playing him versus Joe. I'm gonna have to take him out. Actually, I think can I bench him for Hardman? I don't know. Anyways, will Travis Etienne stay hot, and can he continue getting workloads like he did in London with 20 plus carries and all the receptions? Or is Michael Hasty going to get a little bit more work going forward?
He's going to stay hot going forward, and I am playing him in our DFS matchup this week.
The Raiders just got burned by Kamara, who got 96 receiving yards against them and 2 touchdowns. They're vulnerable against receiving bats, so I think Etienne's gotten like 3+ receptions every game since he started. So I would say yes.
All right. That's all I have for this one. I took the Raiders, I believe.
I also took the Raiders.
Who did I take?
I think you
No
two
one.
took the Jag. I think Joe took the Jags and Ryan did not pick.
I don't pitch yet. Go out.
That's not fair.
Anything to not make the cold takes video.
I'm trying my hardest. I'm gonna be on there somehow. I don't know what cold take I've made so far, but I'm sure there
I'll
is one.
find something. I'll find something.
Let's-
All right. Next game, Seahawks at Cardinals. Cardinals 2-point favorites. Will the emergence of DeAndre Hopkins continue to open things up for Rondale Moore? Saw him in the slot a little bit more. Saw some design plays to him. Is he going to stay hot?
Yes.
I think so.
He'll have a good game, I think.
Until Marquise Hollywood comes back.
How
I
long
think
is he
he's
out
fine.
for, Ron?
A few more
It's
weeks.
on IR, so
He's on at least 2 more, I think it is.
I
two
have
more, but that was a aggressive timeline. I think it's going to be closer to a
Yeah.
month.
What was
Yeah.
his injury?
Ankle, right?
High
Ankle?
ankle sprain.
Ankles. Who needs them?
I think the
You
start
got
of this
to.
game, though, is going to be Ertz. I think it's going to be Ertz. It's going to get a lot of volume in this game. So I really like him in that Seahawks-Cardinals game.
Yeah.
All right. Is this the end for Eno Benjamin? Is James Conner finally going to return?
No, he's
Benjamin
hurt
had
today.
a pretty bad game.
According to reports,
He's limited
hurt.
again still.
I think we have one more week. The end is
I
coming,
think so.
but I think we got one more week.
Winter is coming.
So do you try to dump Benjamin? Do you try to trade him off?
Maybe in your home league
league.
if people don't pay attention.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like if you have people that don't follow the news super closely and just look at the stats from previous weeks, are you sending them
Obviously.
away?
You can.
Yes, if you can trade him, I would do it. All right. What
Great.
Seattle wide receiver has a bigger game, DK or Lockett?
DK Lockett's banged up,
Yeah.
Both are.
DK's
DK's
banged up.
banged up.
but DK's a man.
It's always scary pitching against
I'm
Lockett because you never know
certain
when he's gonna
Tyler
have
Lockett
his.
is also a man.
You never know when Lockett's gonna have his 49.37 game. So
Yeah, and he did it versus the Cardinals.
yeah. So, but consistency wise, I'll go DK.
I'm going to pick DK too. All right. Seattle,
I'm
do
gonna
they
pick Tyler
lead?
Lockett just because I have him on a team.
I love it.
All right. I need him to go off. I need DK to beat up Joe this week. All right. Do the Seahawks lean into Ken Walker? He kind of started slow last week and then got that touchdown in garbage time. Is he going to have a bounce back week and have another like 20-plus point performance? Get rolling?
I don't
Yeah,
think
the Cardinals defense is not good anywhere. The Giants defense is actually pretty solid. Like you said, he wasn't really doing anything until he got that touchdown. So I do think he has a better week, efficiency wise, at least this week.
Well, and the Cardinals, kind of like the Raiders struggle with receiving bats. So I think you can see a week where where Walker gets some receiving work. So I think he's definitely going to be leaned on.
Okay.
I think the Seattle Seahawks will rely on the wide receivers a little bit more because I think they're a little bit weaker in the secondary as opposed to that front seven. So I think we'll see Ken Walker have an average game. Not a bad game, but it'll just be an average kind of week.
But both their wide receivers are banged up. They're like limping out there.
Well, as I said, DK's a man, so.
I don't know what that means.
Prove it, Joe. Okay.
I don't know what that means.
I can't
Let's
get
move
kicked
on
off
real fast,
YouTube.
please. Let's move on real fast.
All right. I actually picked the Seahawks in this one. They're playing good. I don't
picked the
trust
Seahawks.
Kyler and the Cardinals in Kingsbury right now.
Well, Call of Duty came out, and the
Okay.
campaign's really good, guys.
He had the best fantasy performance he had all year last weekend when Call of Duty actually came out.
Maybe his pre-order got delayed, or there was some.
Right, because digital pre-orders always get delayed.
Yeah, well, maybe there were some buds. You never know. You had issues downloading
It's
it.
part of his contract that he can't play Call of Duty until the second week is released.
Oh, okay. Let's
I've
just
got
do
the
anything to
Seahawks.
further this narrative.
Maybe last week was double XP, but this week it's triple XP. You
They're
don't
not
know.
doing any XPs yet.
Oh well, that's
Regardless, I have the Seahawks.
I have the Cardinals because
All right, well,
the Seahawks
anywho,
beat them
this
last
upcoming
time.
game is
so
going to be
it's gonna
awful, and I don't want to watch it.
Ryan, are you going to pick? Or is this another
game.
you're refusing?
Did I put a pitch in?
No,
Oh, I'm going to wait. I'm holding
this is
out.
great.
I'm holding out.
I think Ryan's cold take should just be him being super indecisive about everything.
Just clip after clip after clip. Yeah, I'm not picking. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I'm
Not
not
picking.
picking.
I don't
No.
know.
I mean,
Well,
he could
guys,
do that.
Is it better to not pick, or is it better to be wrong?
I mean, we're here to give advice, but
I would
whatever.
argue. Well,
I mean,
fantasy,
you did.
fantasy-wise, it doesn't matter who wins the game.
Gamblers, maybe we got some gamblers watching. They want to know.
I will
who's
say
doing
this,
it.
though.
Fantasy-wise, it doesn't
Ryan
matter.
has now passed JJ in the weekly pick'em section, so
It's not hard. I've not had a great.
Well, and
I've been
last
trying to be
season,
bold and too smart, and I'm
last
this week I
season, don't
locked it
forget,
in.
I took like 3 weeks off where I didn't make any picks and still finished like second or third, I think.
I'll rebound, Ron. Don't you worry. All right. Next game, since Ryan's not picking, Rams at Bucks. Bucks 3 points favorites. Will either of these offenses get back on track this week?
No,
I don't think they will.
it's gonna be awful. Just
Yeah.
don't watch it. If you
This
have any
game's
other
gonna
option.
suck.
This is going to be one of those games when, people looked at it when the schedule came out. They're like, that's going to be the best game of the year. And it's just not going to be great.
It's gonna suck.
All right. Cam Akers expected to resume practice this week. He's active. And you're desperate. Would you play him?
No.
They'd have
No.
to be real freaking desperate.
I mean, how desperate are we talking?
Like,
16-man league.
I don't even know if I'd
Pollard
play him
down
in
to
my
right.
dynasty league with the running backs that I have. So,
Did you say 16-man dynasty league and you have no else to start?
No.
Then maybe if it was that deep.
Oh, I'd rather play Elijah more than him in the flex.
Ooh.
So
All right.
here's the way I look at it.
You
I
still get
can't
1
get
point.
negative points from his fumble if he's not on my bench. I think I would just leave the spot open.
Also true.
So much hatred. I will say the last game he played against the Buccaneers was not good. So I would try
To be
not to play
fair,
him.
I've hated Cam Akers
Yes, you have.
since this offseason.
Some idiot said he had league-winning potential. I don't know who it was, but that guy should be fired.
That guy will have his own take on his own cold video, I'm sure.
Maybe he will.
This
Rashad
is why you
White.
don't make commitments, Joe.
Yes.
But commitments are fun. Rashad White has been getting more touches as of late. Will that split continue to get closer, or will Fournette stay the workhorse?
Fournette will be the workhorse this week. The Rams defense is pretty good.
I think they're just setting up White for next year. Like, I think you still see him working in, but just keep him on the bench.
Okay. All right. Cooper Kupp really banged up. We saw Allen Robinson get more involved finally last week, even though it was only for 5 yards.
Thank God.
5 receptions for like 57 yards on 7 targets. Can we trust him going forward? Is he startable? Would you play him?
Oh, God.
Robinson?
Allen Robinson.
Well, he's had like back-to-back weeks of double digits, right? Like borderline flex.
I could get behind a borderline flex.
Yeah, I would do it.
All right. If you need him in your flex, he's playable.
Yeah, he is. Ugh, gross.
I'm just happy that Stafford's learning all the other teammates' names. Kind of what they do.
Yeah. So these teams have not been good this year, and they were supposed to be at the top of the division. So I took the Buccaneers at home.
I also took the Buccaneers at home.
I'm going to assume I
I
didn't.
think I took the. Did I take the Rams? I think I took
You
the
took the
last
Rams.
game.
Ryan
Yeah.
took the Buccaneers at home.
All right. I took the Bucks.
You made a pick.
Right in it.
All right. Next game, another lopsided line. Titans at Chiefs, Sunday Night Football. Chiefs 12.5 points favorites. Is there any chance that the Titans can stay in this one and keep the Chiefs throwing?
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that line is very disrespectful to the Titans.
They're playing tough this year.
Do you?
Like,
They're
I
playing
do.
tough, but Tannehill's hurt. He didn't even play last game, and Derrick Henry is now hurt with a foot injury.
Yeah, their only answer is Derrick Henry, who is hurt.
yeah, I think they'll be fine.
Is
I just
there,
think-
is there snow in Vermont?
This might be a weird game with playing a Chiefs running back is a good move.
Which one?
That's
the hard
game.
part. I
agree.
I think CEH, like this could be a game where you just see him. I think you see the Chiefs up by a ton, second half, and then they just hand it off, kill the clock.
Pacheco, like the whole fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a lot closer of a game than that.
But how? Where?
Derrick Henry.
He's hurt.
He's going to play, and he'll be fine.
And you think he's going to... Okay.
Yeah.
Go like 35 touches and...
100, yeah.
I agree with Ron on this assessment. The Chiefs
Malik
will win
Willis
this game,
could
but the
start.
Titans will
They
keep
could
it
do
close.
RPO shit. Like, I think the Chiefs are going to win. But 12 points.
What spread do you give?
They'll probably win by a touchdown.
Ryan, do an apology bet.
Bet. No way. They win by more than 7.
Apology bet.
They win by more than 7.
Come on. I've never seen a Ron Ryan apology bet. Do it.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it.
All right. The Chiefs win by...
That makes me very happy.
Ron moves the line back 5.5 points. So
hey, I write some good apology bets too. It's been proven, and it's grammatically correct, which is always a win.
It's grammatically correct. It's hard to do in this,
Yeah.
All right.
This world where you can check everything on Google really easily.
There are programs that can check grammar, but they're overrated, I would say.
One would think after 6 years in college they would learn what programs do that. But here we are.
Isn't the number like 7 the times you need to hear something before you retain it? So maybe Joe needs to go back to school for a year or 2.
I'm pretty sure we've told Joe.
And we can call him Dr. Joe.
700 times?
I'm pretty sure we've sent him diagrams that still don't like visuals.
We got to get him a poster in the back so he can see it in his camera.
Like, we have to get him a flow chart to hang in his room.
Joe, you have to get the flow chart as the background on your cell phone. So every time you're messaging, you could just be like, oh, wait, what is it? Oh, yeah, that's it.
Or get like tattoos like in between your fingers.
Yeah.
Each finger has a your, and you can just reference it. And the other hand can be there.
Literally, the comma is an A, Joe. Just remember that.
Which one of you assholes want to start doing the producing work then?
Yeah.
No, you need to do that so you get better. We're helping.
That's why it's for your benefit. We let you do that so you can work on your grammar.
You should be thanking us, if anything.
You lazy piece of shit.
But you're the intern.
So the real reason we only go this week is because Joe literally couldn't go. So we're just like, fuck it.
That happened.
I went back to work and I ain't doing all that
shit. All right. Let's finish this puppy out. Ravens 2.5 points versus Saints. 2.5 point favorites versus Saints on Monday Night Football.
We all have the Chiefs too.
I had Michael Thomas. Yeah. I had Michael Thomas referenced in the questions, but he's since gone on IR, so screw that question. If Mark Andrews does miss this game, how appealing is Isaiah Likely as a starting tight end?
Very appealing.
Well, and I feel like if you have Mark Andrews, you probably don't have another top tight end hanging out there. So I would almost think you would have to have Likely.
I kind of think they're both playable. They're both playable, I think.
Joe, I kind of agree. I do believe
you'd play them both.
Even going forward with the lack of weapons that they have there, I think they're going to run a lot of two. Think of back when it was Mark Andrews and Hayden Hurst, where most weeks they were both playable. I think they get back to that.
No kidding. It should happen, but yeah, if you're a Mark Andrews owner, definitely try to snag Likely if you haven't done it already.
Good luck getting him.
Get up in.
I got
All
him.
right. Any interest in any Ravens running back? Edwards is dealing with a hamstring injury. Kenyon Drake, if he's inactive, would you play Kenyon Drake?
If Gus Edwards is inactive, I would play Kenyon Drake.
Yeah, RB2.
Yeah, I'd have no problem with that.
Okay. And with Bateman out, do you dare start Devin Duvernay or Demarcus Robinson? We kind of touched on it earlier. I think you can play Duvernay.
Yep, Duvernay. I'm not about Robinson.
I think they both are flex worthy.
I think Devin Duvernay is the higher flex option, and I think Demarcus Robinson can also be played in the flex. Got to throw to someone, right?
Yes.
The 2 tight ends.
That's true too.
Probably.
But I think you can play both of them in the flex.
The touchdown will go to a random third tight end.
Oh, yeah. It'll probably go for the offensive tackle.
Right. Eligible receiver.
Mm-hmm. Or Pat Ricard, fullback.
Don't they have a certain
No,
35-year-old wide receiver on the practice squad?
Sean Jackson, that's right. He's going to play.
Ooh, Sean Jackson might be coming back up soon.
No, he's on the practice squad technically, but they're going. You know what? They may have signed him to the active roster when Bateman went out. So I can't confirm that, but I know he's going to play Monday night. He's going to be
hitting up the old folks home. I like it.
So I got the Ravens in this one.
Give me the Ravens.
Also the Ravens.
I'm assuming I picked the Ravens.
Trap game, though. Banged up Ravens. Saints at home, coming off a big win.
Yeah, I almost picked the Saints.
I didn't make a pick. Did I?
Yes, you did. Yes, you picked the Ravens. Shut up.
Oh my God.
Right. God.
Ugh.
Do you not have a phone?
Oh, yeah, but it's playing the Thursday night game.
Who does that?
Right there.
All right.
Oh God.
All right, I think that's it, guys. We went 22 minutes over my goal, but we had a lot to cover. A lot of bullshit happened.
Don't worry about
Do you want me to do the ending spiels?
Yeah, go ahead, Joe. You do that.
Joe.
All right, guys. If you want to win this Miles Sanders autographed gridiron card, there's 4 things that you have to do: like an episode, subscribe to the channel, leave a review on Apple Podcasts, and leave a comment. I am part of the Heckling Fandom. We will put your name in Ron's dirty hat at the end of the season. Draw it out. Send it to you if you are the winner. If you like what you heard on Garbage Time Fantasy Football, make sure to like and subscribe to the show. We are on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Google, Pandora, Amazon, iHeartRadio, TuneIn. We are now live on Twitch and Twitter, as well as YouTube. Leave us voicemails at www.garbagetimeff.com. We like the hate mails that Christian sends us too. You can do those as well. JJ, what's our Instagram and Twitter?
Instagram is at Garbage Time Fantasy Football. Twitter is under my face, garbage_time_FF, where I need to be more active. So I will be.
Excellent. Anything else we need to leave for the Heckling Fandom tonight? No? Silence? Good Super Show, guys.
Super Show. Good luck.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Have a great fantasy week, guys, and we will see you hopefully on a regular schedule next week.
We'll be back.
We will be. 3 episode week. So see you guys next week.